Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are brand new here, welcome. I am Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid. And today we're going to be doing a declutter video. Now, I know I love watching these videos on other people's channels. I'm just seeing what they've outgrown, things that they don't resonate with anymore. And it's kind of fun to see someone's progression and growth and, kind of how all of our tastes and needs change throughout our personal journeys. So without further ado, there's a couple of decks that I'm kind of on the fence with. We're going to kind of see, but I'll let you know when I've decided what deck is totally a definite, leaving my collection. And the first one that is a definite, that we've had our time together, is the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Ina Segal. I have a full unboxing on my channel. I'll try to remember to link it below, but most of these, I think I have a full unboxing. I'll say it in the video if I do. This is by Rockpool Publishing. The cards are large. I love the backs. These gorgeous backs. Now, I did resonate with this deck for a time, and it served its purpose. And I've used this deck for about 2 months straight at different times in conjunction with another tarot deck. I went through the deck completely and did all the what was called in the book, there's exercises, and I needed this deck. I was called to this deck in a particular space and time in my practice when I needed to go through the exercises. I needed this deck. I used this deck largely with the Touchstone Tarot, and I found that they paired very well together. But having worked through it twice, I think it's time to part ways. I needed it. It served a purpose, and now I think it's time to move on. So you can see my thoughts, my initial first impressions on my video. I think this is an excellent deck. I'm not getting rid of it because I didn't resonate with it at all. It's just I've worked with it. We've had our time together, and it served its purpose at the time when I needed it. And it was wonderful for that. I will say that the thing I really enjoyed about working with this deck was the book. It had a lot of great spreads with choices and taking the next step. But also, I liked with, it goes over the meanings of the cards, but you have an action, an exercise for progression. And I really appreciated that. And I went through all of them twice. And that's why I think I feel good about moving this on and letting something move in to my collection, whichever, that will be, remains to be seen. So that is the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Ina Segal. So this will definitely be leaving my collection. Another deck that will be leaving my collection is the Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. This is a great little affirmation deck, a 64 card deck by Hay House. You get good value with it. It is a nice chunky little deck, nice square little cards. For the instance, this one, every thought think is creating my future. Every thought I think is creating my future. And then there's kind of little mantras and things on the back. The universe totally supports every thought I choose to think, and I believe I have unlimited choices about what I think. I choose balance, harmony, and peace, and I express it in my life. And these are great. It's a great little deck. I used it for when I read for other people. sometimes for myself, though not as much for myself, but I did find out it was a good way to open or close a reading when I was when reading for somebody else. But I have some other decks now that I think I reach for more. So there's nothing bad. Nothing, you know, I did resonate with this deck. I found a use for it, but you know, I'm trying to keep my collection at a manageable rate. And maybe I'll do a video about, you know, where I store my decks. But I want to be able to work with all my decks. And when some are just getting, you know, set aside, not used, forgotten, it's time to reevaluate. And I think we all go through that. But this is a great little deck. It's available on Amazon and Hay House. It's very affordable. I don't think I have an unboxing of this deck, but there probably is many of them on YouTube. I accept my uniqueness. That's a great card. I think the one thing that I don't like, I have trouble reading other people's handwriting a lot. So I think, you know, it doesn't, for my old eyes, you know, I need my glasses to read this. And it's, the front is a little bit better, most of the fronts, but the backs with the messages on the back, it's a little bit harder to work with. And, you know, if you have to work at reading the cards, you know, I want something quick. I want something, you know, so you can keep the momentum moving. So I think that's why one of the things, you know, nothing wrong with the deck. It's a stylistic choice, but, you know, we want to work with what's easiest for us, you know, especially when we're reading for others. The other thing I don't like is you have to put a rubber band around this box. This is not a flip closure, so the cards can easily spill out. So this one is definitely Leaving Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. And let's see. Okay, you guys, you are going to be very surprised because I just did an unboxing of this deck last week. And it is the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck by Amanda Lovelace. Yeah, you're going to say, why? There's so many great things about this deck. So many great things about the deck. The cards are beautiful. They feel wonderful. And we are going to flip through, and I put them in order. I try to put all my decks in order before I sell. But let me get down just a little bit lower. It's one thing I mentioned in my unboxing video. Now this thing is great because of diversity. It's female centric though. There's no masculine energy in this, but it is, you know, body diverse, race diverse. The issue I have with it is very, very young. Very, very young. The artwork is beautiful, 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 but I find the messages in this card and the humans depicted in this card. This was where I was at, you know, 30 years ago, and I'm no longer in this place. It's quite different now. So when I read for others, I'm not reading generally for teens. I think this would be a great deck for teens and young 20-somethings. But it has more of a young, just starting out feel to this deck for the most part, except you get a little generation, but it's still very young in this card, as you can see. Super youthful. Nobody in this deck that I can really identify with. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. And I would recommend this deck if you are young, if you read for a lot of young clients, if you are just starting out with oracle cards. I would highly, highly recommend. I just don't see myself in here. I don't see myself in the messages are fairly universal, but I think it's the depiction, you know, with the message. I don't know. It's just something I don't see myself using. Now, and the reason I'm willing to let this go is because there's 2 decks that I have in my collection that I resonate with. I see myself more in, and that is Ethany's Awakened Soul Oracle deck. I have a full unboxing of this on my channel as well. But I think if you look at the age and the diversity in this deck, I think it's more diverse. I really do. Largely, I would say female-centric, but diverse body types, diverse races, ages. I just think there's way more diversity in this deck. And I can, you know, see myself in some of these cards way more than I can in this one. This one, you know, fits the bill in so many ways. So that's why when I have this deck, I'm not going to reach for this one. At least not enough to make it worthwhile to have it hang on in my collection. You see, I'm just, you know, it's just going to sit there, basically. And the other one I have that I find that I resonate more and that I like and that I would reach for before this one is my Everyday Witch Oracle. I know some people have issues with this deck, but I find this deck, I love this deck. I resonate with the images. I love the diversity. I think it's way more diverse than the tarot deck with body, race, age. I just think I resonate more with this than this. I can find myself in this deck more than I can in this. I can't find myself in here at all. I don't see myself. And these 2 decks, see, this is me, or what I aspire to be. And see right here, I resonate with this. So these 2 decks I love, and because that the fact that I have them in my collection, this is going to get lost. So I feel good about letting it go. And I'm not going to change my mind on it. It's definitely going because I have those other 2 great decks. Okay, so I spent too much time on that deck. So next, we'll move a little quickly now. This one again, I think I just posted an unboxing of this deck on my channel last week or the week before. It's the Tarot del Toro, based on Guillermo del Toro's films. And one thing, I have a full unboxing video. This is done by the publishers who did The Nightmare Before Christmas. If I had noticed that, I would have probably thought twice about getting it. I love the backs. This reminds me of, the artwork in this reminds me of the Nightmare, not The Nightmare Before Christmas, Patrick Valenza's art, The Deviant Moon. And I do love, this is normally not something I gravitate towards, this kind of artwork, but I do love it in this deck. I think it's wonderfully creepy. But the thing that, and I'm going to have to put this in order before I sell it, the thing that put me off on it, because this is so colorful, and there's a lot of personality to this deck. It is the pips, how the pips are done. I like the texture in the background, but it's just pips, and I hate that. It's a pet peeve of mine when something is so wonderfully illustrated in the majors, and then you get this. Now, I expect that for a Marseille deck, but for one that is a deck that is not Marseille, I think this is a depiction of the director himself. I love that. I don't like just straight on pips like this. I like pips that have some illustration and hints, like the Pagan Otherworlds. I also have the Indie Field Tarot, which I love. But these are just straight up uninspiring pips to me. And when I have a deck like this, you know, it's kind of a letdown to me. I love this cardstock too, by the way. If you have the Nightmare Before Christmas, you'll know. So this one will be definitely leaving my collection. Because of that with the pip, it's just kind of a letdown. And I said that in my unboxing also of the Nightmare Before Christmas. They kind of did it also. I think the cup suit is very pippish, but then some of the suits are somewhat illustrated. It's just kind of disjointed, but I'm keeping that one for nostalgia. But I'm letting this one go. So this one definitely will be a goodbye, leaving my collection. The next deck is another Ina Segal deck. Heal Yourself reading cards. Now, along the same vein as the mystical healing reading cards, good messages, good practice, good guidance in this deck. I do not resonate with this artwork. I really do not at all. They're very pretty and it's very, very well done. But I don't, there's something, I don't know. And it's beautiful. But some of it, you know, it just, I can't explain it. Great cards. It's a great, great deck to work with. I did work with it once and went through all the little exercises, went through each card, but I have not been called upon to work with it again. And I think I will find something better. And actually I do have something better, something I do use more. It's this self-care, oh gosh, I can't remember the title of it, which I pull out when I want this type of energy, when I need these kind of messages. And I just, it's very, very young. Though it's a very fantasy-based, you know, artwork deck. Now I know myself, I don't resonate totally with these images. There are exceptions, but just looking at the book again, you can see it's the same. Spreads, I think the spreads in the other deck are better. There's more. But see, it's the same layout. You get the meaning of the card, but you get the actions, which I found are very good. Very, very good. I know there's some readers that I follow on Instagram that use this deck quite a lot in their pictures and that are super fans of this deck. And it is a great deck. And I'm not saying I did not get any value. I just don't see myself, you know, reaching for it, called to work with it again. So that's the Heal Yourself reading cards by Ina Segal. Okay, moving right along. I did an unboxing of this tarot deck last week. I just don't see myself reaching for this. After playing with it and looking through the book, I like it. I don't think I'm going to be drawn to use this. I very seldom am drawn to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck unless it's for study purposes. So I do love these backs. I don't feel myself drawn, and I don't think it's going to change, to work with this deck. I have my, what is it? My borderless Waite-Smith deck, which I like quite a bit more, and I also have the Universal Weight, which I use for study purposes. So I don't feel the need, though I do like some of this. I like the concept. I just don't think I'm going to work with it. And so it's going to leave my collection. And it's going to make room for some decks that I really resonate with. Yeah, I just don't see myself working with it enough to make it. I've had it. It was a brand new deck, and I don't feel called to work with it. So I think that's a sign. So this is going to be definitely leaving my collection. The other thing that's going to leave my collection, I got a year ago, and I know it's time for it to leave. It's the Booska Toro, the Museum Quality Edition by Los Scarabeo. I did take the plastic off this, and I got it probably a year, maybe a little more. Beautiful, beautiful. But look at this, you guys. The cards are still in plastic. They are still in the shrink wrap. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Now, here is the book. The book doesn't even have pictures. And I got this deck before. I found it in a metaphysical shop at a very good deal. And because I like old art, I thought I would be drawn to it, but I have since looked at unboxing videos, and I said, no, I'm not going to work with this deck. So this deck, I'm probably going to let go on eBay. The other ones so far are going to go to my local half-price books. It's very, very sad, but I don't feel myself called to work with this deck. That it is what it is. So this one is leaving my collection, definitely. Is going on eBay. I've had it for a year, maybe a little bit longer, and I have not taken it out of the plastic. So that is a sign that it needs to go. Okay, you guys, another one that is going to go is this set, Easy Tarot, Learn to Read the Cards Once and for All. I got this very early in my tarot journey to use, and I did. The book is by Josephine Ellershaw. I know she's prolific. She's written some books. It has a little spread, paper spread cloth. Very good beginner book. And I've gone through it, but I don't see myself using the cards again because I am not drawn to Ciro Marchetti's artwork. And it was actually, and I'm not going to take these out because it's very hard to take out, but we'll look at the book. See these tuck boxes, and I want to sell it. So I Actually, there's only the black and white pictures, if you can see, in the book. But I am not drawn to Chiro's art. The one I would say of his decks is probably the Toro Grand Luxe that I like better. But this highly digital fantasy art, I'm just not drawn to. I'm just not drawn to. And it was really hard going through the book and working with this deck because it didn't give me the feels. It just didn't. And I know there's a lot of Chiro fans, but yeah, I'm just not drawn to it. Yeah, I'm surprised I've kept it so long. It's basically in brand new condition. And I kind of knew at the beginning this was just not something I was going to keep. I'm going to not. But you can see how it's in a tuck box. I'm just not drawn to this art, you guys. So it's going. Okay. This one I'm not certain about if it's going to leave right now. I know it's going to leave eventually, but this is the Daily Crystal Inspiration by Heather Askenazi. I think that's right. I probably butchered it. It is a mass market Hay House deck. So it's a 52 oracle deck for finding health, wealth, and balance. You know, I think I got this to work with my knowledge of crystals. So I view this more as a learning deck. And I do like the backs. They're kind of cool. Haven't worked with it yet. I know I'm going to work with it and then it's going to leave. But, I mean, there's a lot of white space, but I think it makes the pictures pop. So there's the stone, what it is, a key phrase. So amethyst is trust your intuition. I know this is going to be leaving. Maybe it'll leave before I work with it. I've had it for a little while. I haven't been called to work with it yet. And part of that is just time, you know, with all the other decks I have. Some have, you know, have just moved to the forefront. I don't think I have an unboxing of this because I thought it was, you know, pretty unexciting, but you can see some of it now, and this is the gist of it, how it goes through all the way through. It is sticky, glossy cardstock. So I think this may go. I don't know if I'm going to work with it first, but it's definitely going eventually. If that makes sense. This is something, it's not going to stay in my collection long term. The fact that I haven't been called to work with it. I have a Colette Baron Reed's Crystal Spirits deck, which I find a little more interesting. So I'm holding on to that. So I just may let this one go. So that is the Daily Crystal Inspiration deck. I do love these backs. Don't you love those backs? By Heather Askenazi. I think it's a great deck if you're beginning with your crystal journey. And I'm certainly not an expert, but I haven't been called to work with it yet because I do slightly like the Colette Baron Reed one. That one I could see going too, but not at this time. All right, the next one, you guys, another failure. I just did an unboxing last week. The Elemental Power Tarot by Melinda Lee Holm. This is going, you guys. It is going. And I need to put this one in order too. Number one, I don't like the cardstock. This feels very similar to the Antique Anatomy Mass Market Edition, very papery. When I shuffled it, it bends. There's no core whatsoever. And the pips, they're slightly more illustrated than the Tarot del Toro. Still, they don't do anything for me. Do you see? These are the backs. And the reason why, I will show you. I love the majors in this deck. And I have a full unboxing, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Kind of reminds me of what the Spacious Tarot did, I think is what they were trying to do here. I love this artwork. I love what they did. And that's why I'm so disappointed that it's just a pip deck. And that the cardstock is so, yeah, there's no grit. There's no heft to it whatsoever. And I know because of those things, which are pet peeves of mine, this deck is going to have to go, even though I just want to keep the majors, but no, it's going to have to go. So like I said, you can see a full unboxing, walkthrough, card by card. I love, 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 love this Hermit card. That's why I'm so, there's some good things. The majors are really super good in this, I feel, in this deck. But, you know, there's more pips. Also, the court cards I have to show you. Let's find the quartz. Quartz. They're kind of, some of the quartz here are nondescript. So I believe that's the page. This is the knight. And I don't even know which one is the king or queen. I don't even know. Do you see? And that happens with, I think there's only one suit where you can kind of tell a difference, but this one you can't. Only if you memorize where this stone is. It's very nondescript. And that bugs me. So that's why this deck is going to go. Definitely going. It's going bye-bye to my local half-price books. So if you're in Austin, you may find it there. Okay, moving right along. This is a new deck. The Tarot of Light and Shadow by John Matthews and Andrea Asti. I have filmed an unboxing of this deck and I have not posted it. I meant to post it today, but you know, I had some other things to do. So you may see this video before you see the unboxing of this, which is sad, I know. Beautiful production, great box. Great box. So you get 2 decks for the price of one, a shadow and a light deck in this set, which I thought was very intriguing. So here is the box. It's a double box. You get 2 of the 2 decks. Here's the light and here is the shadow. Slight differences, very slight differences, but largely the same. I put them in order. Here are the backs, and the backs are the same, but this deck is meant to be put into one deck and shuffled together and mixed. So the reason why I'm letting this go, well, one reason you can see here, I'm going to let you see the majors just very quick so you can get the gist of this. But like I said, I have a full unboxing. We go through every card side by side. But what I want to show you, we'll get to there's an extra card, the Cosmic Mirror. And the aces are good, but then you get pips. You get the pips. And I did cups and wands. I mixed it up. But as you can see, you just get a very, very pippish deck. And I don't generally read with reversals. But when I do, I generally use the shadow meaning for reversals. Well, it depends on the card. And the shadow cards, I do a slightly, you know, positive. I take the positive meaning, or slightly less worse. So I don't do that a lot. I do have a couple of decks that I do read reversals with. Some of the Madame Clara decks that have keywords on them on both directions, and I practice my reversals with those decks. So I can't see putting this deck together, and my hands are so small. I'm just not going to use it. I'm just not going to use it. The illustrations and artwork is quite whimsical. And it's fun, but I am not going to, I don't feel called to work with this deck. I thought that the concept, maybe if they, definitely if the pips were illustrated, I would. But, you know, do you see how chunky these are? There's no way I'm going to put this together and, you know, put them together for light and shadow readings. There's just no way. I just as soon, you know, read reversals. So that is the Tarot of Light and Shadow by John Matthews and Andrea Asti. And it is definitely leaving my collection. I just know I'm not going to use it. All right, so only a couple of more here, I think. I think just a couple of more. All right, we've got the Numinous Astro deck. This deck I have sold and I have bought again. I haven't been called to work with it because I have some other astrology decks that I find more intriguing. Though I have flipped through this book and I have decided I am going to read the book because the book is a very good book to dip your toes into astrology. What I have issue with is the cards. So, okay, here's the backs. Cardboard, papery, though they're a little more hefty, I would say, than the Elemental Tarot, maybe because they're smaller. There's my card. Love my card. They're collage, but it's not very intriguing collage, if you see what I mean. So I am going to let this go, but I am going to read the book because I can't see myself using these cards, you know, other than for study. They're not really, I wouldn't use these for readings. I have other decks that I would use for readings. This would clearly be a study deck, and I wouldn't use the cards. I would use the book. And the book is quite good. It is actually really good. If you're just starting out, this is a great deck if you're just starting out with astrology. Take a look at the book really quick. There's no pictures in here, but you get some good information to dip your toes. So I'm going to finish this book. I have, I don't know, I'm halfway through, but it is definitely going to go because I don't see myself using it, you know, after I have some heftier astrology books. This is kind of like a quick overview, very quick skim the surface overview. It is a good one, but I don't see myself, you know, using the cards. So that's why that one has to go. And it is the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. I saw this deck and I fell in love with parts of it. There, it's not in order. I love, love, love these backs. Love them. haven't been called to use this deck. Like I said, I'm generally not called to use an RWS deck with, you know, with Pixie's artwork unless I'm using it purely for study purposes. And I use my borderless weightsmith and my old little universal weightsmith that I found used, because it's not precious. I can take it along with me. But I find I like this and I don't. Some of the cards, some of the line work is quite muddy. I think it might be the coloration of the skin tones. I don't know what it is. Some of it, there's things that I love and things I don't. I don't like the glossiness, though it's a gloss that doesn't stick. And sometimes I think that the muddy line works, and sometimes I think it doesn't. So I've played with it, haven't worked with it. You know, if I'm going to use an RWS deck, it's going to be my borderless edition or my universal weight. And I don't use it. This is like in brand new condition, basically. So I think it needs to go. Don't you think? I think it does. So these are the decks. They're definitely going to go. I'm just going to hold on to the Numinous Tarot long enough to finish the book, and then it will be going. All the decks, except for the Booska and maybe this Tarot of Light and Shadow, those two are going to go on eBay. The rest of them, everything else is going to go to my local half-price books used bookstore. And I'm going to have a lot of space. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 decks that will be leaving my collection. I think that's pretty good because I have amassed a good amount. There are some decks that are coming that I'm going to be very excited to show you all. So, you know, that's how it is. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed watching this video, let me think your opinions on, maybe you think I should keep one, or you think, yeah, you should definitely let these go. And if you have a channel and if you have a decluttering video, let me know in the comments below, because I really like to watch those videos. So I will definitely watch it if you have one. If I'm a very small channel and I'd like to keep doing videos for you, so it would really help me out if you would hit a like, a subscribe, a comment. It all helps a small channel. And yeah, let me know what you think about these decks. And yeah, I know I'm kind of a dingbat for just obtaining these decks, and then I find out I'm not resonating with them and they're going to go. But at least I'm doing unboxings for you, so you can don't do what I did. You can do your research first and take a look at the cards. Like for this, for instance, even though I'm letting it go, there will be a full unboxing of this video, so you can make a decision for yourself. All right, that's it for now, and until next time, bye for now.